Health in association with our partners Cluzie Clinic, where you come to heal. Have you got aches and pains, tried everything and nothing seems to be helping? Are you looking for a health solution that's beyond a prescription or beyond being cut open? We don't need that. At the Cluzie Clinic, they use revolutionary health technology to help you heal at the source. Learn more at cluzie.com. I love a very straightforward website as well. Yeah. You've done well there.
Yeah, it has.
All right, let's get into what's trending. We always like to get stuck into a bit of a news topic. What have you seen recently?
Just the impact of stress, especially mental health stress, especially, during all these lockdowns, especially Victorians have experienced over the last 12 months. We've been a bit luckier in Queensland, but yeah, you see it all over the news. Mental health impacts for work-related things, home-related, financial stress now, and, calls to Lifeline and things like that have gone through the roof. So it's a very hot topic.
Absolutely. And it's, I think stress, well, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something that can stay around for a long period of time, right? Like you feel it and then we kind of go, maybe I feel okay, but with the pandemic, it feels like this is going to last a while. Would that be right?
Yeah, and it's compounds. And it's like, back in the day, prehistoric days, a lion or something would come and chase you, you would get this stress response and you'd get out.
Totally.
You'd be safe. But now it's just like one thing on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. So you're always in that stressed state.
100%. Let's talk about how people speak about stress. It's often, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. Do you think at the moment people wear that with a bit of ego and like a badge of honor? Like if I'm not stressed, I'm not doing enough?
Yeah. And you get these influencers like Gary Vee and people like that who are like, it's all about the hustle. It's all about the hustle. And 4 hours sleep is all you need. And it's like, well, no, because it's proven time and time again in all the research that you need 7 to 8 hours sleep.
Yeah.
And it needs to be good sleep. So, these days, a company will employ someone who will get the job done and work all these, long hours, and the impacts. Like last night we caught up with friends for dinner. We haven't seen them for a year. And all of them came, I'm so stressed. I've got works doing this many hours and I'm, working from home so I don't get lunch. I'm working through, then I've got to pick the kids up for school, then I've got to get them to, swimming and gymnastics, and then I haven't seen my husband for 4 weeks, and it's just like, well, this isn't healthy, this isn't a lifestyle, you're going to burn out. Like these people are in their early 40s. How is that sustainable for another 20 years? It's just not.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree. So is this making us sick, do you think, in many ways?
Yeah, it is. Like all you have to do is look up what is stress hormones. It's cortisol. So your adrenal glands, which are these tiny little things that sit on top of your kidneys, that's your fight and flight response. So it's how you make adrenaline, it's how you make cortisol. And as I said before, like in a short-term stressful environment, or you're studying for an exam or something like that, it's really good to get a boost of these because, up to heart rate, stops your digestion. But if you're constantly producing cortisol, then your body's constantly in a fight and flight, then your digestive slows down, you don't breathe properly, your lymphatic system stops working, you get a compromised immunity, you don't sleep well. Like there's so many things that just happen to your body when you're constantly stressed, which lead to lots and lots of long-term health effects.
And you've been a nurse for how many years?
25.
So you've seen it all.
I've seen it all.
So let's talk about what this can then look like how can it show up in a person? Because, day to day we're so busy, but it'd be great to sort of go, well, hang on, if I know what it looks like, I can then monitor that and I can do something about it. So what are some of the signs?
Yeah, so the biggest sign would be you have a heart attack when you're 45, but it doesn't have to be that dramatic, but you don't just have a heart attack most of the time, like there's a lead up to it. So, are you feeling a little bit of tightness in your chest when you get anxious, when you've got 3 board meetings in a row? Do you feel a little bit of anxiety, or do you feel like this tightness in your chest? That's a sign that if that continues to happen, that it will lead to heart disease. Things like I'm not getting enough sleep. So when you don't get enough sleep, your immune system doesn't work. So I have friends that work in the financial services, always sick. Every time I call them, I got a cold. I'm like, you had a cold last month. They're like, yeah, I catch everything. Yeah. It's because they're not sleeping. They're under a lot of stress. It's also job security stress. You don't know if you're going to lose your job tomorrow when you're working in that kind of service. So yeah, and then it leads to, I think Time magazine did an article back in 2012 about, it leads to chronic inflammation, and then chronic inflammation, it leads to every health disorder that you've got, from Parkinson's disease to heart attacks to strokes. And, you know, being young, you don't think that, oh, that's never going to happen to me, but it will.
Totally. So you've reported that 80% of people who come to Cluzie Clinic come with some sort of stress concern. Tell us some of the stories that you've seen. What do we need to know here?
So I had a guy, my classic guy, he's a farmer, has his own farm. He gets weather. He lives in Queensland, so he's always flooded, or there's thunderstorms that cut out power, or he loses his chickens, or something happens. He's always stressed. So he had this extraordinarily high blood pressure that landed him in hospital time and time again, and it didn't matter what the doctors did. They'd give him that pill didn't work, this pill didn't work, that pill didn't work. So we sat down and we looked at it, and we're like, well, you've got this huge stress in your life with your business, which is affecting your relationship, you know, staffing, and during COVID, of course, you know, people would rather have JobKeeper than work, especially in that kind of environment. So his stresses were amazingly huge. So we looked at the big picture and we thought, okay, so there's impact on his adrenal glands, there's impacts on his heart, there's impacts on his nervous system, so how do we slow him down, de-stress him, teach him a few tools? And after seeing him, I think 6 times, his blood pressure's in the normal range. So things like that kind of happens all the time. Chronic pain patients are often stressed. And it could be simply mum was stressed when she was pregnant, and then that's always they've always learned as a little child that they're always in this stress state. So they come in with chronic pain later because their nervous system doesn't work properly. So it's just over and over and over again we see it in the clinic.
And they think it's normal, I suppose.
They think it's normal.
They get used to that, which is the worry in so many ways. Hey, just to finish, let's look at millennials in particular. They might think that being stressed is sexy in some ways, and that if they're not, then they're not trying at life. What would you say to them if they think that?
Yeah, well, you just have to ask any nurse that's worked in a critical area or doctors that work in end-of-life care. Not one person says, I wish I had worked harder. They all say, I wish I had lived more for me and not worked so hard. So don't work so hard. Just make sure you have that perfect balance of time for yourself. Do your walks in the morning, meditation, get some sun. I know you live in Victoria, most of you viewers, so there is sun out there, get some.
Let's just take a look to finish at the top 5 stress reducing tools, just to tick through them. We've got them on the screen there for you. So tick through, give us maybe the most important. What are we also missing out of this list?
So breathing is the most important out of everything, because internally it does so much to your body. But box breathing, what we mean by that is you take a breath in for 5 counts, hold your breath for 5 counts, and breathe out for 5 counts and hold your breath. So you're basically building a box. That's the easiest, most simplest thing, because it teaches you, breathing relaxes you, it gets your immune system working better. So that would be my number 1. And then getting into nature, like trees and, you know, barefoot on the grass, cuddle an animal,
It's amazing what that does.
It does, During COVID, we like cuddle each other. So if you cuddle an animal, it releases oxytocin. So that's your happy hormone. So get some of that. Some solfeggio frequency music that's just particular tones that work on your nervous system to keep it relaxed. And meditation, it doesn't need to be some thing. It could be going for a run. That could be your meditation. So it's just important to take time for you, basically.
Great tips. Oh my goodness, for some reason we just still don't do it, but that's what we're here to talk about. You said you were nervous before this, and you just absolutely smashed that out of the park. So you were telling me a fib. That was a fib.
I'm a good fibber.
Hey, great stuff.
Thank
we'll
you.
talk again really soon, okay? Thanks. Awesome. Ticker Health, of course, in association with our partners, Cluzie Clinic, where you come to heal. Have you got aches, pains, tried everything and nothing seems to be working? Are you looking for a health solution that is beyond a prescription or being cut open? We don't need that. At the Cluzie Clinic, they use revolutionary health technology to help you heal at the source. Nice and simple. Learn more, cluzie.com. Love it. See you very soon.